This show is part of the HeadStuff podcast network.
I think this coffee was sitting in the cafeteria for a whole day.
Overnight, maybe.
Will I drink it still? Yes, I will.
Tony did a little thing when he poured the coffee into the cup. I saw him and he did a little thing where he dipped his whole finger into it to test the heat of the coffee. It was like a little finger dip, but I don't think he wanted anyone else to see, but I saw it.
I wanted you to see it, and then I was going to present my finger and have you suck it, but you ran off, unfortunately.
Want some coffee? Point your finger at me.
You're nothing if not a slovenly pig, Tony.
This is
and
very
I
true.
actually really respect that about you.
I'm consistent. I've tried to do that. I've tried to do the kind of like, oh, this is very well tailored suit and wearing white marhample like you are now, and it just does not. You know, I'm a grubby little goblin. You know.
Yeah.
So I've tried to maybe wear more textured kind of prints, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That and
You look good. You
A
look
textured prince.
the textured prints.
I love that story, the textured prince.
Yeah.
The little textured prince.
Yeah.
That was a great bedtime story. My dad used to scoop us all up and we'd all say, Daddy, tell us the one about the textured prince.
Yeah.
He'd have denim on one arm and then kind of a tarmac Adam on the other.
Yeah.
He had many
Tarmac Adam.
Yes, he was many textures.
Oh wow.
Yes.
And he used to sleep on the divan beds, and he was and it was the dado poles.
Dado rail.
Dado pole.
The dado
Yes.
rails. He used to swing on the dado rails.
Jesus.
We'd cling on to the dado rail and we'd love it. You know, we'd all go along, shuffling along. We called it spy. Let's play spy. We'd crawl along the dado rail and then, of course, my father would scoop us all up off the dado rail and everyone would just be scooped around.
You know, you're just constantly getting scooped.
You were just
constantly getting
Back in the
scooped
90s.
up.
That's what it was
like. There was that the 90s. It kind of crept. It would have been the 80s, probably America. They were scooping there, and you know things were slower.
A little bit later.
You know what I always say is,
Yeah.
you know, if America sneezes, the whole world catches a cold. I don't know if you ever thought of that before, but that's something I always say. I've always said that.
They're attractive. They're very attractive. Hot and loud.
And a little bit sad.
He was the best guy around.
Oh my, is it hot in here or what?
You're an attractive guy.
It's the fabulous Tony Cantwell.
I'm talking about Shane Daniel Byrne.
Summer has landed in Ireland, and the one drink you want to get your hands on is a Rira Irish Lager.
It's so totally Irish and fresh, and it's really good. I went a bit Stephen Hawking's there.
Ooh, and I'm going to pivot out of that and talk in my normal voice just to say thank you so much, Rira, for sponsoring this podcast with your delicious, light and fresh, brewed in Kilcool County Wicklow Lager.
Tasty. You're going on holidays to Cavan next week.
Yes, I am. So thank you very much. I got on to the boys and I said, boys. Yes, so I pulled a bit of a Tony in that I wasn't looking at my calendar and realised I was going on holiday next week. Which, I tell you what, delightful. Sometimes being me is just delightful. I forget about things and I'm like, oh.
Let me tell you something, Tony. When you said, oh my God, sorry, I'm going on holidays, can we record tomorrow immediately? I was like, yeah, no bother. I'm also away next week and didn't do any action about that at all. So it just actually, I completely fluked it. But I thought it's good for transparency.
Yeah, you didn't need to do that.
And parenthood.
Absolutely.
Transparency and parenthood.
Absolutely.
Textured princes. Do you know that?
Transubstantiation.
Do you know the
Yeah,
way
man.
there's always the ads for like Visit Dubai? Like we always get those.
Which we did, Killian, and we are sorry for doing that. That was an accident and we shouldn't have done that.
It was a mistake.
It was crap. It was crap there, and we were embarrassed.
Yes.
And we remain. I remain very regretful about going there.
Yeah.
And now everyone's attacking all the people. Do you see
Going
this?
to Dubai,
I
yeah.
keep seeing these TikToks. People going like, Gavin Noon is supporting. And I'm like, I also went to Dubai. I also did a show in Dubai, and I'm sorry for doing that, and I regret it.
Do you know what's so toxic about my FOMO is I'm feeling FOMO now that I'm not being cancelled with you. That's where this FOMO
We haven't
is.
been
not
cancelled.
getting
We're kind of
cancelled,
getting
but
out
we might
ahead
be
of it.
putting it out
Okay,
there
getting
now.
out
Yeah,
ahead
we're
of it.
getting out
Good,
ahead of
good.
it. We are so. Let's do an apology.
Yes.
So recently, it has old videos have been unearthed that show that Killian and I did do some comedy shows, which is shameful enough by itself just to do stand-up. That's embarrassing. But we did them in the United Arab Emirates, in Dubai.
And let me tell you, I did my best to and I was successful in not making the audience laugh at all, just to make sure.
That is important.
Just to make sure that it wasn't a good experience.
And how many times did that
and
happen?
it was two nights
Both
in a
shows.
row.
Wow.
Yeah,
Both
I will,
shows.
and I
Still
think
to date,
Killian,
my biggest
you
bombs.
do deserve credit for that. That Killian, as a kind of a silent act of protest, he had an unsuccessful stand-up both times in a row, whereas I had one good one and one that was not great.
Yeah.
So
when you caught wind of what the vibe was, that people were taking political action, you decided then
Once
to have a bad
Shane
one.
saw how bad my show went, he in solidarity.
I
He
said,
also
tomorrow
did a shit show.
I'll ruin mine.
Yes.
And
I did an opening joke where I said, I love the toilets here. I love the way they have that little hose so that you can have a little drink while you're on the toilet.
That's funny.
And they
I
didn't
think
like
funny.
it.
That's very funny.
I thought it was funny, and they did not think it was funny.
Wow.
And then I did a couple of jokes about how shit Dubai is, and then crickets, and then I couldn't really win them back.
They like Dubai.
Yeah.
The people said to us, "Do you guys love Dubai?" We're chatting with the audience after, and we just were kind of like, "Yeah," but we don't. We didn't like
No.
it.
I do love that. That's your kind of like go-to. It's like, yeah, you all drink toilet water and this place is shit. Why aren't you laughing? What's going on? Why don't you? Do you not know who I am? I'm Mute in South County Dublin.
But when you're in Dubai, they actually have loads of signs and videos, and it's all visit Cavan.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's
yes.
what it's like there.
I
I
think that's
actually
where
saw a Dubai influencer apologize for going to Cavan because of the human rights abuses that are rampant in Cavan.
Yes,
You
I am
have
going
to try Cavan chocolate. It's so
Yeah,
good.
the viral Cavan chocolate has taken over the internet by storm.
Basically.
And we're going to be trying some in the second part of the episode today. So do stay with us for that. And former Taoiseach
That's
Leo
actually got
Varadkar
lake
will be
water in
joining
it.
us.
That's got lake water in it.
I actually have never met a person from Cavan I didn't like.
This is very true. I love everyone.
I
I've met
actually
from
really
Cavan.
enjoy the people from Cavan. Well,
Kevin McGarin?
I like Kevin
Yeah.
McGarin, but can I trust him?
Absolutely not.
Well, as a Cavan man, he's bloody peeling an orange in his pocket, as they say.
Yeah.
Famously tight. Wouldn't know. Don't really know any of the people. But the people I've met, I love very much.
Yeah.
Aidan Green, comedian.
Very
He's
good.
from Cavan.
Very good from Cavan.
Yeah.
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 Friend of mine, Manus. You don't know him, but
I do know Manus.
Manus Halligan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we shouted him out before on this.
Yeah, because I was in a music video with him.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Yes, I am going to Cavan. And I feel bad. It's no, it's a nice Cavan, like you said.
I'm
Kind of
wondering how
boutique.
much more we can divert away from Tony just being allowed to tell us about
I
his
love
holiday.
this.
I'm wondering just how many more
Well,
things
I
can
am
we do to get
fascinated.
in the way.
Because Cavan is a wonderful place, but it's not somewhere I
You've
would
gigged there.
traditionally-
You know I've never
I've
gigged there.
I've
You
gigged
know
in
I've never
Cavan, had a
gigged
great
in
time.
Cavan.
I'm always
the Cavan
saying that.
Comedy Club, it's a lovely place to gig, but I wouldn't usually associate it with a place that people go for a holiday, let alone like a week-long holiday. I'm wondering, what are you doing there? Are you just going to one of the lakes?
I had a lovely night in Coot Hill. Is that Cavan or is that still
Hang
Monaghan?
on a second.
I had a gorgeous night up there in a pub that there was so many of us went into the pub. It was a tiny pub that he just made a phone call and got some musicians to come
Oh wow!
just for us.
Coot Hill,
Coot Hill.
Coot Hill and Cavan. Message in. Is Coot Hill and Cavan?
It's so hard to know anymore if Coot Hill's in Cavan or Monaghan. It can be tricky.
Do you know what I was thinking about? And I'll come back to my Cavan trip. Compasses.
Right.
Give it a fucking rest.
Do you mean compass like for the ship or compass for doing your circles in maths?
Well, but actually, I was confused the first time I heard a boy in my class was stabbed by a compass, and I'm like, it probably didn't hurt because I'd never made a circle with one. So I was like, all right, chill the fuck out. He's like, honestly, like he stabbed me in the hand with a compass, like he's mad, like he's a fucking headball. And I'm like, all right, man.
Chill out.
And like a little round bit of plastic. Okay.
Okay.
No, I mean the actual north, south, east, west. I think, can we do without this? Oh, it's just north of there. Fuck off. Now I have to go into a map or go into something and look at what north is. Now I have to know what north is to now know where it is.
This
Just
sounds
take out your
a
fucking
little.
phone.
Don't
Sorry,
like
this sounds a
compasses.
little bit like stand up from like Ferdinand Magellan. That's what this sounds like because you're talking about it as if we're all laden down with compasses and we haven't a minute. You can't move for a compass in this climate. And I feel like that's what the lads were doing when they were,
Christopher Columbus.
supposedly going around the world.
Yeah, the Columbus.
Guys, you know that compass. Like, what's up with that? I gotta know where north is all the time, huh?
Yeah, I know where it is. I know where it is. America.
Then you find out you got to go into the map. This is crazy.
This is crazy. I'm a tying knots. I'm throwing him off at the fucking back.
find out
My
how
grandmother's
fast
a
my ship is
fucking
going.
bike. I don't know what to do.
Astrolabe, I'm trying to get laid. You know what I'm saying?
They tell me it's not India. It's India, buddy.
Yeah.
Look like India to me.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, I'm a Mexican now for some reason.
We're allowed to go into weird accents. We discussed that before.
We did discuss that.
And
we
actually,
said it,
people
so
have
now
been.
we can.
We said it.
Discussed that before. We said we're
Well,
allowed.
we take ownership and we set the tone here. No, I don't mean Tony.
No, I know
We
you've
set the
said
kill.
it.
I don't mean Killian.
Sorry.
Shane. And you're going on holidays to Cavan.
I'm going on holidays to
Cavan.
Cavan, yes. It's a nice place. It's like this small closed off little area, little lovely cabins that are there. There's lakes, there's activities. There's a lovely like cocktail bar that around the cocktail bar there's all shit that kids can like, throw. So you can just get fucking steamed while your kids are like building giant Jenga. And
Is it
stuff
a,
like
a
that.
family place?
It's a family
specifically?
place,
Yeah.
but it's quite cool. And they give you
Oh,
nice
God.
drinks.
To hear the stuff you have to say when you have kids. No, it's quite cool. Is it?
As cool
Is it?
as I can get.
Yeah.
It's as cool as I can get.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right? And I do feel bad to the people of Cavan because recently I was having a long drive because I have to do that with the car that we have. It's an Opel Insignia, and unfortunately there's a bit weird issue with the filter, and you have to actually take it for a bit of a long drive.
The fuel injection system?
Fuel injection system.
Yeah.
Like that. So I was going for a long drive, and the guy cut in front of me with a CN license plate.
Right.
And for the whole
Which is
hour,
Cavan, by the way, for
well,
those listeners.
for I
I
was
thought
driving.
CN. I thought you meant like CIEN, like that kind of pharmaceutical, like the makeup and stuff brand that you get in Lidl. And I was like, do they have cars as well?
Thank you so much for that essential pivot.
Thank God Killian's here too.
I was so confused.
You're the only person who had that confusion. We're supposed to be a
there's people listening to this and I'm going, CN, but sure, I have their shampoo. How do they have cars? That's what people are thinking right now. So
You know, my granddad used to call Jip. Talked about it before on the pod.
Yes.
Like, watch me play with Jip.
And the
lemon.
The lemon.
Was also
No, Jip for the pancakes.
Bit of Jip on your pancake. No way you always have a bit of Jip and a bit of sugar on the pancake. I bet you do, you dirt bird, as he used to say to him.
I never met. Oh, I must tell you a
Granddad, do
funny
you know
story.
what? Do you know what Jip actually is? Tony, don't. Do you actually know what Jip is? Tony, honestly, don't. It's cum, Granddad. It's cum. So anyway, no.
she's
So-
been poisoning me for years.
I've been microdosing him with Jip. No, I was driving behind this CN license plate.
Yeah.
Which sounds like an American term I'm using there. Would we say that? License plate?
Reg.
Reg. Yellow reg, no returns.
Oh.
You know all about that, Brit.
Private jinx. Private jinx.
Anyway, I was driving behind the CN
I
license
private jinx
plate.
too. So. Tony.
Okay, thank you. So I was driving behind the CN license plate, not the one from Lidl and not cum, but it was, and for the whole hour, couldn't remember a county that had C and N. I couldn't remember what it was from. And I felt so bad.
What was going
And
through your head? What were you going? Oh, Clonel was stuff like that.
I'm like, is it Clare North?
Right.
Is it, that's as far as I got, to be honest. So for an hour I was driving and I couldn't remember that Cavan existed, to be perfectly honest.
And now you're going there.
And now I'm going there. Now I'm availing of the, well, actually now I'm contributing to the local infrastructure.
The Cavan economy.
The Cavan economy. The economy. Economy. Deuteronomy says. So yeah, I felt bad, and I was going to text Kevin, but I didn't think he'd like that. Being like, I forgot your county that you love so much, with all of its gorgeous old pagan traditions that you love doing, existed.
He's the king there.
Monaghan, I forget a bit as well.
Kevin McGarin, I think, because he has his lovely clothes and he's so handsome and everything, I feel like he's trapped in between. He's
the
urban
twixt.
and rural, wrapped up between. I imagine his life is a turmoil.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you balance that out? Maybe this is an experience, just because I'm from Dublin, I live in Dublin, I never left where I live. Maybe people from who bilocate like that or have an affinity to two homes, maybe they all feel like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Split,
I
torn.
know for sure that he would much rather, his lovely daughter not have the Dublin voice that is developing now, obviously being reared here.
But he
She's
wants
will you put
the
the ghost put that down?
He wants
why
the
can he
son
speak?
to have
Daughter talks.
Yeah.
Then you put a bit of dip on the pancakes.
Put a bit of Jip on the pancake, my favourite. No, don't mention her in that.
You did that.
I didn't. I just did the voice. That's what he talked like. My granddad, God rest him.
Light of God shine upon him.
Will White, Eric Lawler have asked Kevin to go on their podcast. They're starting it together. They're called Are You Cavan a Laugh?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. That's not true, but I just thought I'd throw it out.
Oh.
there. Yeah. It would be good though.
You should offer that to people.
I'll give that to them. I'll go up to them.
I remember saying to you, because Jordan has an issue with those comedy shows that are like puns on people's names. He doesn't like them.
Achilles Kneel by Neil Delamere.
Achilles Kneel might be
yeah.
one. You know, that.
A Line of O'Kane by Deirdre O'Kane. I actually do really like that one. A Line
do
of
like that
O'Kane.
one.
I think
Yeah.
that is good.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Because
Immaculate.
O'Kane is so like cocaine.
I like Immaculate, which is Emma's new one.
Yes.
That's a very good
Neil
one.
Immaculate.
Creme de la Mer. Neil
Has he done that one? Or are you offering that one?
Creme de la Mer. No, he did that one.
Okay, all right.
What about DOD? I like Deo Doherty's one, Highway to the David Zone.
That's fun.
That's a good
That's
one.
a
I
good
like.
one.
I wanted to do Torn Asunder, man.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't know. Did Jordan not like those? I think they're quite fun.
No, but you know the ones that are a bit like tenuous, you know, like you know, say if there was a comedian called Niall, you know, like A Stitch in Time Saves Niall. You know, something weak like that. It's
Yeah.
like this just I suppose that's a thing, you know.
Stuart Laws called his show, Is
Tony
that guy still going? I thought that was good.
Is that
Oh,
guy
that's
still
fun.
going?
Is that guy
That's
still
great.
going?
That's fun.
that guy
That's a
still
good
going?
one.
It's what was the one you just said there?
Tony Messon.
That's good.
Tony Messon is great. I like it.
All right, maybe I should go back because I agreed with them, but I think I do that to people when they're talking to me. I did. Maybe I disagree now. Well,
Yeah,
do you
I
you
just-
disagree? So I know I disagree.
No, I don't.
What do you think?
I don't recall Jordan being on tour with his comedy show, so maybe he should shut up and mind his own business.
Yeah, and that's the rule you should apply. Similarly, you eat a food you don't like. Can you cook it? And fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you did, you know, you have to be able to do it better before you can say anything, and that's democracy. Before you can be critical.
I got coffee on my t-shirt.
Oh, and it's a lovely
Oh,
texture
it's a
one. I
nice
was thinking you look like
texture,
the
like-
textured prince.
I like a textured.
What is the Little Prince?
the little
Le
prince?
Petit Prince is a French.
Oh, geez, fucking forget about it. I'm
It's
immediately.
a French book, and it's quite boring and not very good. And, we had to study it, and he asked.
Oui.
He finds there's some sort of little prince, and he goes around annoying people, and he asks some guy to draw him a sheep. He says, "Dessine-moi un mouton," and then he draws a box, and he says the sheep is in the box, and I still now think that was a pretty good prank, where the guy says, "Draw me." He says, "Little prince says, draw me a sheep, dessine-moi un mouton," and he draws a box
Against, yeah.
with some air holes, and he
Yeah.
goes, "The sheep's in the box."
That's fun.
And he goes, you got me there."
Mm.
So I mean, I don't know what they're trying to. It must be some sort of comment on France as a
and
nation.
boxes.
And boxes.
And boxes, yeah.
The real box discourse there. What's Oscar Wilde's one? The Happy Prince? Is that his one?
Yeah, but that one's very sad.
Is that about the prince giant?
I think it's about a statue, a prince statue, and the statue is sort of got lots of gold and it's got lots of rubies and stuff like that. But then the prince watches the town, and then there's this bird that rests on his shoulder, and
Yes.
he keeps seeing people in poverty. He keeps seeing people who are doing badly. So he asks the bird to slowly give parts of his, a jeweled statue to these people until finally he is, just this dirty, filthy thing, and then he gets torn down. And
Is that not the Giving Tree?
no, that's the Oscar Wilde. I think that's the.
I think he ripped off the Giving Tree.
From the Morbegs?
Here, big one for you.
They had a growing
The
tree.
Morbegs, are they sucky? Can we just fucking call a spade here? The Morbegs, are they sucky like? Are they at least related to sucky?
Would they be a sucky?
Maybe a
That'd be
sucky.
sucky. Is sucky the same?
Are they sucky? They don't have a nose.
When we were kids, my granny's sister-in-law, that's complex, but she was visiting and staying with my granny.
Can't place it.
And one,
Trying my best.
she was wearing a shell suit. She was English.
Oh yeah.
She was wearing a shell suit.
She sounds nice.
No, I didn't like it. I think she just died. I know it doesn't matter. My mother listened to this.
What
and
is
like, what
going
the fuck?
on here?
Anyway, I think she might have just recently died. Anyway, I didn't like her as a kid
God rest
because
her soul. I
I didn't
her one
I didn't
bit.
like her because one, she sat in my granny's chair, right, plain rude.
Okay,
Right?
That's very rude.
Particularly as a kid, everyone knows granny has that's her chair. No, you don't sit in that.
Yeah.
And if we're a dough, number two, when Soky was on, she said, "What's he? Is he called Socks?" And I was like, "You're a fucking moron. Do you mind me saying that you're a moron? Actually, what do you mean? What is he? Is he called Socks? He's called Socky. That's so ridiculous.
Are you thick?
Are you fucking thick in the head?
Jesus.
Are you an ignorant? You're an ignorant. You're an ignorant."
He's a strange kind of creature, and his name is Socks.
But as a kid, you know when you have those thoughts as a kid, I was just like, God, who's this
I
fucking moron?
love that.
Who's this
Yeah.
idiot?
And you
Socky
hate
his
them.
name is, for goodness sake. Pull yourself together.
Does he have a surname? Or the turkey kind of
Socky
thing?
the Sock Monster.
The
Socky
turkey.
Sock monster.
Dustin
Well,
the
Dustin's
Turkey.
surname is the
Yeah,
turkey.
not Socky the turkey.
No, yeah.
Molly and Ross are the Sockies.
Molly, are they the Morbegs?
They're the Morbegs.
Great.
You know, Tommy Tiernan was one of the little people who helped the Morbegs, right? The humans was with them.
Well, Tommy was.
Would there have been, like, don't comedians like that, like, Fuck, they had a grand time.
It was a good old time, yeah.
They were on telly doing bits of things.
Yeah, there was 7 comedians.
They all got to be in Father Ted.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd have the crack all the time. Like, and they could rent a flat in Rathmines, a studio for £10 a month. And then they, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just
and
feel
it was all cash. They were probably on the scratcher as well.
They probably were on the scratcher as well.
You know?
And the rent allowance they would have had then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would have paid their £10 a month.
We have it tough. We have to come in here and chat for 2 hours once a week.
This is like...
This is a slog.
It's a fucking graft, like. It is a fuck. What are we
come
talking
in here.
about? What are we talking about? It's a fucking graft.
I got a taxi in here.
I love that. I love it for you. More of that.
Daytime taxi is so guilty. So guilty. And then I kind of justified it by going, well, look, I had a few drinks last night at the launch of the festival. And then I was like, that is worse, babe. I said babe to myself.
Oh, wow.
I was like, babe.
At least you're being nice to yourself.
Yeah, that you have to be kind to yourself,
Even when
Tony.
you're being even a negative voice.
The driver's like, can you please stop talking?
Me in the back of the car. Babe, you know what I mean?
Babe.
Like, you shouldn't have been, were you drinking water between your drinks? Because I planned to do that last night. And then it was a rarity in this country. There was actually a free bar.
Really?
Yeah. And you don't get that often. Sure you don't, Tony.
You don't get that
Sure you
often.
don't, Killian.
No.
And we did it. We did it.
You did the whole thing.
I heard of weddings that have that.
Yeah.
Do they?
I think that's...
In
I think
Ireland?
They might do like an hour free or like the certain aspect. I've been to weddings where there's been a free bar. Yeah. For a while.
Jesus, that's showing off.
I went to a wedding in Adair Manor that had a free bar. Well, I had a bit of money behind the bar, and then that was going to run out at a certain point. And so I went up and I got an old fashioned, and it was like €25. And Terry was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But your man was there. He was like spritzing it and then lighting it on fire and like doing like a magic show as well. Like if someone just said, "Look, I'll give you a pint, but I'll also do some magic," and it's a tenner more, I'd be like, "Go on."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but
Great.
what I
It's
want.
an easy way to spend €25 someone else's money.
Absolutely. And then, and then I got another one. And then, the money didn't last very long.
We went to a wedding one time in Germany. Like the Irish side of the family went over to the German wedding. And it was in like a castle. It was very like, I don't know. It was like they had money. It was like a big thing. And they had us doing crossbow stuff.
At the wedding?
Yeah, they like doing activities, Germans. Like they like
Wow.
doing things. So we
You're
were
doing crossbow like in your suit?
Yeah, I was like, we're doing I had a crossbow. And my cousin, like a fully loaded crossbow, was like the one rule. They're like, don't turn around when you have a crossbow. And she just turned and she's like, how am I supposed to do this? And just turned around. Everyone was like, oh no. But they had a free bar and
a crossbow.
And a crossbow. They had a free bar and
Was
like,
it just the one crossbow for the whole wedding party?
yeah, everyone had one go with the crossbow.
Oh, that's
It was
good.
just one of the crossbow. Yeah, I mean that's the way they do it there. I mean, obviously Ireland, everyone gets their own crossbow.
and very orderly queue.
There's crossbow for every table, and then you fight over the crossbow. Who gets the?
Yep.
And then you put the money into the pot and you see how long the speeches will be.
Yeah.
And then whoever is last is shot with the
the
crossbow.
crossbow.
Yeah. You shoot the apple off the bride's head.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you do it in Germany. But
William Tell.
well, let me William tell you some more. Then they had a free bar.
God, I could kiss you for that, Killian. Because I was thinking, must be some, I can use tell there. And then Killian just said it.
Beautiful.
I could kiss you.
They had a
Do
free
it.
bar, and the Irish side of the family were welling into it. Like I don't know, the Germans like they drink as well. Obviously, they like their beer, but I guess
Like kids
yeah,
would have like a 2-liter pint with dinner.
Yeah.
They're very respectful of it. The kids
It
drink,
is the way they do it.
Like
They
a 6-year-old
drink
would be
beer,
there.
but it's part of a meal or whatever. But they didn't understand this concept of the Irish wedding where it's like just get as wellied as possible. And I remember they would just like see it like I was like 15, 16 or something like that. Me and my cousins just like absolutely falling all over, like disgraceful
Love
stuff.
it.
And then I could see like the German guy going, no more free bar. This is so okay. We're closing up. And we're like, yeah, we did it. We did it. We successfully broke it.
That's brilliant. You got to
Yeah.
show them our culture. That is part of our culture. But like the part of that, all the Irish drink that you don't see is, and I'm sorry, I'm actually going to use this in earnest here, is storytellers. I think the shite talk and the fucking stories that come out and like that's the part. It isn't just getting drunk and messy. The height of drunken. I don't know another race, another nationality, another country that has better drunken shite talk than the Irish. They are the single
incredible.
best at it, and so it takes a lot to get there. And certainly there's a bit of collateral damage. Involved in it, like
that's-
traffic cones maybe being put on his heads, his witches' hats, and that marhampa.
That's all part of it.
That's all part of it. But how to get there, to get to that chat, and to be saying the same shite over and over again and to making something a joke. It's a beautiful thing.
I think that it's because we are so emotionally stunted that you go to the ceremony, you feel very moved and touched at the public expression of love shared in front of friends, family, close people. And we're all so embarrassed about that we're like, oh, better drink so I can feel okay about this. I think that's terrible.
See, were you crying at the ceremony there? No, me, no. No. No, don't even like them. Yeah. Hate the fucker. He was with me when it was tough, you know.
My favourite is the best man who clearly is in love with the groom.
Yeah.
And all of the stories relate to the groom and then in his clumsy, toxic male way shows his absolute adoration and lust towards him by telling the most despicable, insulting stories that don't really have any kind of point, you know.
There is a phenomenon, I think you're right, Tony, of men who
I'm not
are
mentioning the bride.
straight men who are in love with another man. They don't want to like.
They don't want it.
Maybe they don't want to like sexually. What's that? What they say? Sexually
Sodomize.
Converge.
They don't want to sexually converge.
They don't want to sodomize them, maybe, perhaps, or be sodomized. But they don't. It's not that they want sexual congress or union, but they're kind of in love. They're kind of in love with
There's a
another
primal
man.
protective element to it. It's kind of like grunt, mine, and not able to give over that he might be now
There's
moving
always,
away.
I find in those speeches, there's always one line. It's not exactly this, but it's always something along the lines of like, you know, you'll never love him as much as I love him. Like something that kind of communicates that. It's like
I did
I've
say
known-
that in the best man speech. I said when I did best man speech, I was like, sorry, but I loved him first, and he's mine. And I think maybe the bride might have been a bit annoyed with that one. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I think she was kind of like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
No.
Because I'm gay or whatever.
No, that's the drink yesterday talking. Now you're fine. That's don't let that seep in.
That's because I had a drink last
You had a
night.
drink last
in the
night.
open
My
bar.
favorite thing though is,
I need to
and
call her.
it's brief. It's like lightning because it's so short. But like the old 70-odd farmer dad who doesn't speak ever.
Yes.
And then he's like, Millie came in and he had these little pink shoes on, and we see her, I said, you look so gorgeous. And now lady, you look as gorgeous as you did in the pink shoe. Like, like pissing tears.
You're
Like,
so
you
sorry.
gave us nothing, but I know how hard it was for you. I'm going to die with what I'm feeling right now. I'd watch
my
a compilation of owl lad farmers
insane.
giving speeches about their lovely daughter.
Yeah, but that's all. There's like a feminist critique to be made here in that women are often more expressive the whole time, and particularly around mothers and love and openness and sweetheart, and I'll get you this and do you want this, and that's become so common, which is so lovely. But actually, then when men do it, we're like, oh, that's so amazing. But he should have just been loving her whole life.
I know.
And open with her and telling her, and I love you.
Shut up. Just let it be nice, though.
Totally agree.
I'm just.
See Shane with his arm around him. And you know, it was a good speech, but if you think about it,
I'm sorry that I'm a deep thinker, guys.
it shouldn't take you this
critically
long.
acclaimed podcast.
I'm sorry, but I am a journalist. I'm an author.
And the other owl lad's been, is he bothering you, Paddy?
It's just there's a feminist critique to be made of your speech.
When the man is the best man, and he, when they do those, sometimes they're like paired up with the best or the woman of honor, whatever she's called. The
best woman.
Sometimes they have to kind of walk around together in some weddings. They kind of have to be little partners for some reason, which I think is lame. But I like when he has to then say like, doesn't she? I like when they got really overboard on talking about how beautiful. It's like, and also then to Michelle, of course, maid of honor, I think we can all agree she looks absolutely stunning, and everyone's like, yeah, she looks beautiful. And then she's like, she's so beautiful, she's radiant, she's glowing. There's an air about her, there's an aura around you, Michelle, that I've never seen anything like it. You captivated me. You stole my heart when you walked in, Michelle. I love that. And his own wife
Johnny
is sitting
B
there like,
doing
what the
it
fuck?
that was definitely the two Johnnies. That was very much. It sounded like I was listening to I don't know, Johnny B saying Johnny.
I think
Johnny's
there's an example. I think
they'd be in love with each other, but not
Smacks is in love with B.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I think he is in love with him.
Yeah.
And B is like, I'm kind of like out riding girls, so I don't care. But I think Smacks is a bit in love with him. I think he's probably married. Is he the other one? The Johnny Smack? I don't know.
I think so.
I'm not fully graced.
I mean, I think that, like those pictures you see of V-Day when, like, there's a sailor kissing a nurse and stuff like that. If Anton Deck came out as being gay, I think we'd all just be so happy and celebrate on the streets, you know?
Yeah.
Because they do
Sorry, I touched Killian's leg, and Killian's wearing short, and my hand was like kind of high up on a leg that you wouldn't normally touch, and he shuffled, and we had to press it because I didn't mean it.
No,
I didn't mean it. It was just that you
going
moved
straight
so
to HR.
You moved
HR
so
is Hilary.
quickly away from me. It was like shudder. It was like I didn't mean to. Have I been doing it regularly or
all
something?
the time, and it's kind
I'm
of getting a
sorry.
bit-
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, no.
I'm
No,
sorry.
chill out.
It
Look,
is weird.
there's a
It
bit
is
of-
weird.
Yeah,
lads.
hand
touching him
on
back.
knee
I'm
is
touching him
okay,
back.
but I kind of was like up your thigh. Like it was quite.
How
did
you
that
got lost
happen?
in there.
Because it was. You
Tony
see,
said that in such a jealous way.
you're not wearing shorts, Tony, so you can't be touched.
I can take off my trousers. No, it is funny
If
how
you
lads
want
who
to,
work
this is a
together
safe
are in love with
space.
each other, you know, obviously unrelated to this, what's happening right now, you know. but
I do
it
think
is-
it'd be funny if Ant and Dec came out and they're like, we're gay, but then they're like, but we're not together. Like that'd be so funny.
And
Everyone's
we're
like,
going out in the pull.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're going
going
out.
out.
we're gay, but we're
I
not in a
know,
relationship
I know
with
what
each
you're
other.
thinking,
Like,
but we're not together.
it's like everyone would be so happy and then so disappointed. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'd be devastated. But you know, yeah, you do see that. You do see that at the weddings with the what was I going to say? I had something, but
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah. No, you do
Just
see
thinking
that
about
at the
Cavan
weddings.
again.
You do see that
No,
at the
but-
weddings.
Yeah, sorry, but
Being-
just to say, you do see that. You know, you see it at the weddings.
The thing you weren't talking about, you do see that at the
the
weddings.
thing.
Another thing you might see
That thing that you would I'd see at the weddings
is
confetti.
And that's is that do people still? I don't know. I suppose it's biodegradable. As long as one rain would get rid of the confetti, I suppose.
Well, they have the confetti boys that'd be throwing the
we don't do the you don't do the. No, but it was a lovely day, and
No, it was,
and I kind of thought, you know what? If it rains, it rains.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
I said, seriously, love, if it rains, it rains.
Yeah.
No one's going to remember the weather on the day. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, no one's going to remember. And I said, look, seriously, love, if it rains, fuck it. I said,
you know what?
fuck it.
Do you know what? If
If it
you
rains,
are,
fuck it.
if you are happy, if you do have a wedding coming up and it's kind of outdoorsy and it's maybe coming up in a couple of weeks and it's in the summertime and you're like, oh God, I hope we get good weather for it, and it does rain.
Please God, now we get a good day for it.
And you're like, it doesn't really matter. It does, because if it was sunny, love, if it was sunny, it'd be so much better.
Yeah, because
It'd
think
be
about, you know,
so
when it's
much
so
better.
hard.
You know, when it
Crossbow in the
is a
rain.
sunny
So
wedding
annoying.
and everyone's like, we were so lucky with the day. People all will say that. So when, like, Saoirse's mum and that role play I was doing there, Saoirse's mum was saying, no one will remember.
Yeah.
They will,
They
Saoirse,
will.
love.
They will,
They
Saoirse,
will
love.
remember.
Yeah, they will.
They will.
It was
They
shy.
will.
And it's like that song, Alanis Morissette, it's like rain on your wedding day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Free
if you're
ride,
thinking,
you've
will
already
we,
paid.
Will we get a gazebo? No, because it might be sunny. Get the gazebo. I'd say get the gazebo.
The marquee, actually, go for a marquee. A gazebo wouldn't do you.
Yeah.
Well,
Gazebo wouldn't do you.
he went up to bloody Lidl and he just picked something up from the fucking middle aisle for a wedding. A fucking gazebo from the middle aisle.
I said, are you fucking stupid? I couldn't believe he walked in with that. I said, you're going to rent a market. Come in with the fucking thing. I said, you may foot that. You may bring that fucking back. I hope you kept
walk back up there.
I said, I hope you kept the fucking secret. I'm put gazebo near me. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I didn't even have any CIN lotion when he came in. No, do you know what I was going to say? You do see that at weddings. You do see that.
do see that at
You do
weddings.
see that at weddings.
No, I do notice sometimes, and I don't know if this is like a tactical thing, but you know when the groomsmen and the bridesmaids walk up the aisle, I often find that they are mismatched in terms of attractiveness. You never see a fucking cracking couple that you're like, do you know what? I'd fucking I'd stomp on a neck to have a look at that baby to see what that baby looked like.
That's on
But they're not a
purpose.
real
That's on
couple.
purpose. They're not
I
a real
know,
couple.
but you know, you like to think, and you're like, every single time you see the couple, you're like, no. I don't know if you play that game. You see them walking up the aisle, and I'm like, could that be a couple? No. Could that be a couple? No.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
chemistry. No
but that's on
chemistry.
purpose, so that the focus is always on the main couple.
Yeah, but by
that
doing
kind of
that,
thing.
that means that they've been tactically aligned to not look good together, which means that there's a bit of a ranking system
There is,
happening
yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like, you know, he's cracking, we'll put him with her, you know,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
she's sensationally
That's
beautiful.
because that's
Put
to
'em-
try and not show too much. Like, no one wants to go to the fucking thing and then go to the wedding and then the couple are looking at everyone and everyone's just peeking glances at the best man and the best woman, which is a new thing that we've invented. And like going, Jesus, they're looking good. You know, you don't want to do that, so you kind of have to mismatch them.
Will you be a groomsman at your brother's wedding?
No, I'm officiating.
Oh, of course. So you won't get to walk down the aisle. You won't have a moment like that.
I don't know if there is an aisle.
Oh, really?
So, Riley.
How do they? What are they? There's no
I don't
aisle.
know. I don't know what
How do they get to the? They're just walking through
No,
the
they
chairs.
just go, and then they just appear.
They're walking
Wow.
over. Sorry, guys. Just slip past you there. Sorry.
I don't know. I haven't.
Crossbows going. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
I do love seeing when all the, you go in sometimes and you're like, oh, I don't know where to sit. And then you just kind of go with your best mate. Say if you know the couple, the bride and the groom, you're like, so I'm actually just gonna sit over here because
People don't really do that anymore, do they? Sides, bride or
Well,
groom?
not really, but I do often find you see those kind of groomsmen who are the ones there are meant to be kind of helping and this kind of thing. They're like, oh man, they might be even having a little swig of some whiskey, and they're like, oh man, and there's like just 90 people on this side and like 2 people over here, and I'm just looking at them being like, you could be kind of helping people and kind of guiding them, but it's just banter. Banter's more important.
How do you slip away if you get stuck at a wedding and someone or an event like that, and someone when you see everyone else having a better time than you?
Oh yeah.
What's your?
I smoke.
Is it enough to go? Oh, I have to go toilet. Do people know? I did that last night. I said, sorry, I have to actually run to the toilet because I was talking to somebody
You
who
did
I
that when
didn't
you were
want
talking to me.
Well, that was genuine. I had to pee then. That was.
And then you came back from the toilet and you were like, Shane, sorry, I have to go to the toilet.
I have to have a shit this time, actually. Sorry, I suddenly need to have a shit.
Sorry, I think I'm going to get sick actually now.
No, but I did it last night and I felt like
Richie gone with you.
I felt like he knew. Yeah, and I.
Well, if you
But you
happen
know what,
to
he
have been
wasn't-
at
it
the
wasn't-
launch of the Paddy Power Comedy Festival and chatting to Shane, and he said, I have to go to the toilet. Directly that the conversation was quite boring.
Yeah.
He had to leave.
You needed to leave. Didn't enjoy it.
And
Well, I said it to Emma Dorn and Peter McGarin.
Yeah.
Peter McGarin also, who said, sorry, Killian. Peter McGarin said last night, I was wearing a lovely shirty jacket belonging to the Raymond collection. Said Raymond's full name. Bleep Raymond's full name, please. From the Raymond collection.
Raymond Bleep.
Raymond
Now they're going to think his
Collection.
name is Raymond Cunt.
No, look, whatever. And Peter
C.
McGann he said, are you Antony, working with a stylist at the moment? Hey. We're
joking?
stylish. Yeah, he said that to me.
Just for you, just to use.
Just me and Tony.
That's fucking bullshit.
Is it? Mr. Australia t-shirt?
This is a nice T-shirt.
Yeah,
Australia.
sure, bro.
Australia is a country that
We know what Australia is.
Yeah, I was saying to Tony.
We have a lot of listeners in Australia.
didn't know.
We know because we checked. We know. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, we
actually
see you, we do.
Melbourne is one of the top cities for young
It
hot
is,
guys.
Yeah, don't be getting all shy.
Loads
We
of
know
people
it's
down
you.
in Melbourne, and hopefully next year we can come down and see you again. As I was there last year in 2024, and we had such a ball together. And I even went out on the piss
you
with the
sound
Sydney
like just
Queer
now?
Irish group. I went out with them, and that was good. Which is a risky move to go out with the audience, but actually, didn't we have a good night, Sydney Queer Irish? We did have a good night.
Sound like
I
Brendan
need to
Courtney there.
apologise to a queer Irish man. No, he's not Irish, but on the last podcast I
my God,
called Stephen, a friend of mine, an older gay.
I thought this at the
It
time.
was a poor choice of words. I was telling a story, and I think in my head, when I was painting the picture of the story, it was funnier to me if he was characterized as an older gay, and I felt very bad about it. And Stephen, I have to say, I'm so sorry. You're such a young gay.
Yeah, and he did message me about that as well. And I knew who you were talking about just because you said Stephen and then you did his accent and I knew who that was. And you were like, do you know him? And I was like, yeah, just from being gay. We just know each other. I know him. I know
An
things
incredible
about him.
saxophone player in Pizza Jazz Band.
Anyway, this isn't about Stephen, but
no, that there was. I was saying to Shane, there was a funny moment at Primavera when Stephen came up to me and he was like, Steve was like, I'm loving the hot guy. I'm loving the hot guys, and I was like, I know they're everywhere. And he was like, no, the podcast, and I was like, oh yeah, of course, sorry, yeah, the podcast.
yes.
Yeah.
I want to change the name of the podcast. I was on the radio for the festival and I was like a pop star. I did like
really?
6 radios in one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got trotted around and they were saying, they all did some variation of, now we're joined in by a young hot guy has joined us. And I was like, that is, okay, good intro. But the people listening don't know, one, who I am, and 2, what Young Hot Guys is. Yeah. Like, you're really overestimating the reach of me and this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, lots of people listen to this podcast. It's very successful, but it's not. It's not like household name vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, when you say that, I then have to explain. Yeah, that's right. My podcast is called Young Hot Guys, and I have to go into all that. And we need to change the name.
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Maybe something, maybe like a play on, maybe the thing we avoided
could call
the
it
whole time.
You Cavan a Laugh?
You Cavan a Laugh?
What about the All Ireland? Or
the All Ireland
what
pod?
about GAA?
The All-Ireland roll.
GAA.
The All-Ireland deli roll. Deli roll banter. Deli chat.
Every week we get a new list of ingredients. Tony and Shane have to guess my ingredients, and then if they get it right, I go to the shop, I get that actual roll, and then they have to eat it live on air in 2 minutes.
Can you stop? Because I did do that TV show about chicken fillet rolls
Sorry, yeah.
on the RD player. I did do that. I did do that.
I love it.
I made a show about chicken fillet rolls, and I did it. And I was early enough in my career that I didn't know that I should put my foot down in certain things, and I lost my integrity, and I just did the show. I should have done things differently, and we all, we
Who
made
had the weirdest roll?
I don't know. I didn't. They were supposed
No, I
to
do
be.
wanna know.
The concept was that, I picked the ingredients for the guest. I didn't.
Pick the
I
ingredients of
told
their
them,
roll?
Yeah, and I'd say, I think you're spicy, so I'll get jalapeno, whatever. And I just never really picked them. I just let the producer pick them
And when
because
they
I don't
heard-
really know about that kind of thing.
And when they heard that the role that you had assigned them, were they like, oh my God, I love this? Or were they just kind of like, okay,
I know. I don't want to talk about it.
okay.
Well, you can get.
You can stream
what's
all
in your-
episodes
what
now
was
on the
it called?
RD player. It's called.
You don't even know.
No, hold on.
Shop Date,
No,
I
it's
think
not
it's
called Chicken Shop Date.
Plain or spicy?
No, it's not called that either.
This is beautiful to see.
It's called the Joe Rogan Podcast.
No, hold on,
Joe
hold
Rogan
on.
Experience
Love Bites.
podcast.
Love Bites.
Love Bites.
With Shane Daniel
Shane
Byrne,
Daniel Byrne.
That's
who
lovely.
was the
Who was
third
the-
person asked to do the presenting of the show.
that's
I
great.
was
The third and best.
The best outcome would be third choice. I maybe fourth, fifth, sixth. We don't know, but we do know that two other people were asked before me, and I said yes.
And what I love about the RT player is that they had this gold mine of an idea, which was a role and people talking, and they were like, "Who can we get for the like?" It wasn't like a show tailored around the incredibly charismatic Shane Daniel Byrne, where he talks about, because you obviously very honest and open and transparent. You talk about relationships. You're very funny at that. It was just, who can we get who can talk about a role in relation to dating?
I don't. I'm not that open about my relationship. There's a lot of podcasts and stuff. People talk about relationships and porn and sex and all that stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't want to talk about that.
Well, maybe I know you.
Not
And
for
you're-
me.
yeah.
But for me, like I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. It's a good thing. I listen to some of them sex ones, but like I just think maybe I should loosen up.
You
but I'm
need to
like,
loosen up.
I'd be terrified to go on that and talk about that.
Maybe we should pivot that, and that's what the podcast should be.
We
as
should
part
be
of
a
the
sex
name.
podcast.
Male
Balls
But Grace
around.
Alice already has a sex podcast on HeadStuff, so
How's
that'd
your
be annoying for her.
cock at the moment.
Or do you know what we could
How's your
do?
cock at the
I
moment?
don't know. It's just is your bum looking good?
What if we?
Have you had sex
How's your cock
recently?
at the moment?
And
How's your cock at the
have you
moment?
Had a bum or something? Like a cock.
What if?
Well, we're running out of time, and I think that's probably where we have to leave the podcast today on that.
What if it's a podcast where?
Message
But I
if
think
you've
do let us
had
know.
your
Let us
cock at
know
the moment.
how is your cock at the moment. You can get us at YHG Pod on Instagram or the email, which is in the show notes because I don't know what it is.
Is your
You can
bum
get us on
clean?
that. Is your,
YHG
well,
Pod.
no, it's not a hygiene podcast.
Your bum clean. How do you
bum
wipe your? How do you wipe
clean?
your arse? Are you a scruncher or a
No,
folder?
we're not doing
Okay,
that.
so
We're
you
not
said
even
okay.
doing that as a joke. And anyway, tell us your deli order and how your cock is, and tell us where you're listening from. I like those stories when people tell us we're driving across the Serengeti. Tell us that. Let us know where you're listening from.
across the
And
This
Serengeti.
episode is sponsored by Visit Cavan. You can go to Cavan.
If you can bloody find it or remember it exists.
which one is Cavan? Is that in Hidden Heartlands?
I think it just misses all of them.
Cavan is just its own little
dodging.
badass.
I think they need a slogan.
I think they probably have a good slogan.
Yeah.
I was looking at slogans of counties the other day, and Limerick's was "Remember Limerick."
Wow.
What's the story with that? Remember Limerick. We do know. We never
remember-
forgot it.
Just remember.
No one ever forgot Limerick.
Remember Limerick? It's kind of says, remember Limerick?
Yeah, remember Limerick?
Remember Limerick?
Oh my god, that was so random. Remember Limerick?
Berlin's
We have to go.
No, Berlin's
Killian's
official
looking-
motto for tourism is Berlin, that too.
Berlin. That too. And
That
on
as
that
well.
note, chuss.
Just guys.
Just
Bitter, attractive, very attractive. Hot and loud.
And a little bit sad.
He was the best guy around.
Oh my, is it hot in here or what?
You're an attractive guy.
It's the fabulous Tony
I'm
Cantwell.
talking about Shane Daniel Byrne.
Killian and Shane.